Hey guys, it's Heath with CityChick here, and I'm here today joined with Benny from CityChick headquarters, and we want to talk to you about one of our favorite subjects, and that's poultry drinkers. You can call them poultry drinkers, call them chicken waters. Today, it's all about keeping your flock hydrated. Now, I'm going to set Benny the rooster down on the workman's table here. Hopefully he won't poop on the table, but I'm going to set him down. There we go, buddy. All right, so let's get started now. First of all, you can go right over there, Mr. Camera Hog. One of the important things about chicken waters is your flock really has to stay hydrated. Chickens will typically drink on average twice as thank you. Will typically drink twice as much water as they do eat. And in the summertime, they go through a lot of water. Now, chickens like Benny the rooster here, who just pooped on the table, his internal temperature is right around on average about 106 degrees. So these guys are really hot. So that's why it's really important to make sure your chickens stay really well hydrated. Thanks for the souvenir, Benny. Really appreciate it. Now, just like in my video about the chicken feeders that I talked about, you don't need to go run out there and buy the super most expensive water. You can build your own. I've built lots of little waters here with PVC pipe. This guy probably costs on average right around anywhere between $15 to $20 after all the parts. For some reason, these corner pieces are pretty expensive. Little nipples are pretty inexpensive, but you can build these really easily in a short period of time. Hundreds of videos out there on YouTube. This is not going to be one of those videos. I'm going to talk about stuff that you can go to the store and buy. So I'm going to set this guy right here. So I'm going to start a little bit with chick waters. Now, this is your standard style quart drinker right here. This is really good for baby chicks. You got to be really careful though to keep these things clean with baby chicks to prevent stuff like coccidiosis. Yeah, I use these things all the time, and as the chicks get older, week by week, I generally try to raise this off the ground to keep the shavings and stuff from outside there. You can keep these around. These are pretty much useless with your full-grown chickens. You know, these don't do anything for like the flock out there, so I like to keep these around for either like a sick chicken in a chicken hospital or chicken isolated. So keep these around. All right. I've used these with my baby chicks. Now this I didn't care for. This has the sideways zipper. My baby chicks kind of freaked out with this. They really didn't pick it up. Yours might figure it out. And then plus the first week, this top thing kind of fell off. It's not really important, but the design was to keep your chicks from landing on top and pooping, and the chicks would slide off. But so now I just had a flat top in there. And the legs kind of fold up so you can kind of raise it up as it goes along. So again, not my favorite, but what this does a really good job of keeping your water clean for your baby chicks. All right, and then there's the hanging poultry drinkers. Now these we used to use in our cedar chicken tractors. I think on the very first one we built, we had a hook kind of hanging down. The bad part about these is chickens love to get their poultry drinkers dirty, right? If you kept chickens, you know this. They just, for some reason, will kick stuff in there. They get poop in there really quickly. These are pretty inexpensive, usually anywhere between $10 to $12. But again, the water can get pretty dirty pretty quickly, and you're just constantly having to refill it up. It's kind of cumbersome because you got to flip open that, put it in, and the algae builds up a little bit. So again, pretty handy, but not my favorite. Now, your good old standard bucket will also work out there. These come in really handy in the summertime. If you put out some of these, fill it up with water along with your other poultry drinkers, the chickens will go over there. Chickens love, love, love to dip their beak into water. So these will come in really handy. Just fill it up. Even if you wanted to put some electrolytes in there, put some ice cubes in there over the summer. Like right now in Georgia, it's got up to 90 degrees today. You can put out one of these buckets and it'll help keep your chickens deal with the heat. Okay, so Benny the rooster, he went back up into his coop. He really didn't like it when I started talking about this next one. But this next guy, so this one, I really liked in the beginning. Basically, it was a small PVC pipe, ran this little tube, hooks up to this bucket right here, and basically the whole premise is this sits up pretty high, this sits down. You can adjust it with these little chains right here. Keeps it nice, straight, and level. It's got a little flow valve. Water just flows down. keeps it nice and clean. Now, there are a few things to remember. Always use a food grade bucket out there. I see some of these how-to YouTube videos on how to build your own water, and they use stuff like Home Depot buckets. Now just remember, that is kind of a cheap plastic, and that plastic is sitting out in the sun all day. You don't want anything leaching into your water. So always make sure that you consider using a food grade bucket when you go to build your water. The one thing that I did not like about this water was this little tube right here. It gets filled with algae pretty quickly. So if you have it out there in the summer, this tube, you're going to have to wind up cleaning it out pretty often. There are little black tubes that you can use with your chicken water, like this, and that will help prevent the buildup of algae. So you can always use this as well. I use these in the coops. This is a Rugged Ranch water. Basically, this has a little red cup down here. It's got a little bell system, and basically the water that controls the flow of the water. Chickens, again, like to dip their beak in water source, so that kind of helps. The little yellow tab thing right here sits on top of the water, and then that kind of fills down. Now, there's some downsides to this water as well. When you assemble it, it's not that easy because you got to stick your arm way down in there and assemble this piece. And again, you really got to make sure you keep these clean. These are nice because algae doesn't build up in there as fast. That's the Rugged Ranch water. This guy right here, so this is a K&H Poultry water. These are pretty neat. This has got that anti-perch proof design where the chickens typically don't like to sit on top of this, because if you notice, some water's got a flat surface. Again, if you kept chickens for any length of time, you notice that they like to jump up on your water. They're going to sit up there and they're going to start pooping like Benny did earlier. So this is really nice because this, once you fill it up, it's got, put that in there, just fill that in here, and it's got this really cool removable plastic ring that once kind of debris and stuff kind of starts building up, then you just take out that plastic ring, rinse that off, and it helps keep the water clean. These are available in our online store as well. You know, my pro tip for you is make sure that this is always kept right around the chest level of your bird, so that way it stays cleaner longer. Now the downside to this is if it's the winter time, there's no way to really keep this heated, and this is obviously, it's plastic, it freezes, it's going to crack and break your water. And I've got some bonus waters here that we're going to talk about that you can use in the winter. Those are coming up. Whew, so I didn't realize I had so many waters. This next one, this is another kind of cup poultry drinker. It's got these little yellow tabs again that the water comes in here. Chickens will tap this and provides a flow of water. I like this one because it's got 2 cups. Now, the downside of this one is algae kind of builds up to this. It's a 3.5 gallon water. It's got that flat top, but what's cool is it's got that hook. You can hang it up, and then that will help prevent your chickens from perching on there. So again, try to hang these up to where at chest level of your bird, and that will keep these little cups from filling up with stuff. All right. So my favorite water that I use in all of my coops, it is this Hen Hydrator. It's this color blue. It helps reduce algae buildup. Now algae will still build up. It just takes it's nowhere near as long as like your normal standard plastic waters. This guy, this holds a lot of water. This holds 3.5 gallons. I love it because it hangs. Does a really good job on keeping my chicken's water clean. I've got one of these in every single one of my coops out there, and you have to be careful because sometimes these little things will start leaking, but what's really easy is all you got to do is tighten up those nipple waters, because sometimes in shipping or at the store these come loose. So just tighten these things up, and that should help with any kind of leaking issues that you have with the Hen Hydrator. Now for some of the Big Daddies. Now this is probably my least favorite water. This guy, it's got kind of it's a vacuum style design. You fill it up, and basically what happens, once you fill this up with water, put a hose in there, kind of put this on top, screw that in there, and basically it creates kind of a vacuum seal of the water, and that keeps the water from flowing down and flowing out of this little red trough. I'm not a fan just because these things get, again, really dirty really quick, and algae builds up inside of these. Now, this would come in handy if you're going on vacation for a week, week and a half. You can fill this up with 7 chickens out there, and you would know your chickens would have plenty of water. I always love to use at least 2 or 3 water sources if I'm going out of town. So again, use these if you're going out of town on vacation. You want to make sure your chickens are well hydrated. Another not so clean, but another one if you're going on vacation, these kind of come in handy. This guy, this is another 3.5 gallon. This is a hanging one. Again, good to use with a lot of chickens. Just gets dirty quickly because little trough right there. Not a lot of fun to fill up. You gotta do that. Fill up the water there, put this on top, and then I can't tell you how many times that I put this thing on here like this, and then splooshed myself with water in January and coated myself when it's been 10 degrees outside. So definitely not a lot of fun in the wintertime. There we go. And now this is another one of my vacation waters. I've got these set up there. Now this one holds a lot of water as well. This kind of lid, it kind of vacuum seals on there as well. Push that on there. Again, really good to use if you're going on vacation or if you have a lot of chickens. So now let's cover a little bit of, it's winter time coming up. You may want to invest into a heated water. These are going to be good to have around in the winter time. You don't want your chicken's water freezing over in the winter, obviously. There is something that you can get called a chicken water de-icer. This comes in pretty handy. You can use this, plug it in. You can drop this right in the bucket, keeps water from freezing. These come in really handy. You can drop it inside the Hen Hydrator that's hanging here, run the cord out through here, run your extension cord through the coop. Will keep the water in your Hen Hydrators from freezing over in the winter time. Now this one is the one that I like to use. The most important thing about these is I like to set these up on a few bricks to get these right around neck level to my chickens. When I hang this, I noticed that the chickens trying to peck, they can get the water out of there, and this keeps the water really clean, but they're sitting there trying to peck and get the water. As you notice, this moves pretty easily. So keep this on a flat surface if you get one of these. Water just goes straight into here, really super simple to use. This other guy right here, this is the heated all-season poultry font. These I used probably my first couple winters with my chickens. The only downside to these is it's flat. Chickens, again, will sit up here and perch and poop and do their business. Now, my one pro tip that I have for you on these waters, if you get one of these, it has this really handy little seal right here. You will pop open that, fill your water up that way, instead of unscrewing this. And again, I've been there, it's January, it's 10 degrees, I'm unscrewing this, I put it, and I've dumped this entire thing of water all over myself out there trying to fill up the chicken's water in the wintertime. This is just kind of a standard heated pet bowl. These come in really handy if you have a low surface coop, where these typically don't fit into like some really small surfaces. This goes in. The only trick to this is it's got a nice long cable here. These you have to keep clean on a routine basis. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching my video about all the different types of poultry drinkers that are out there. If I did not have a poultry drinker or a poultry water that you love to use and that you have a favorite, please leave that down below in the comments. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for all kinds of free information on how to raise happy, healthy chickens. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching this video and have a great day.